Cheryl. Welcome. It's on. It's on, but are you not hearing it? Huh. Could it be the sound system isn't? Can you check the sound system, please, Judy? As you are welcome here. Visitor, friend, or longtime member, you are welcome here. With little children, or your partner, or alone, we joyfully welcome you here. You are welcome here as believer or doubter, as joiner or loner, you are welcome here. Feeling a part of us or not, full of energy or not, seeking a vision or a rest, you are welcome to join us as you are. We acknowledge that we are in the Aboriginal territories of the Salish, Nez Perce, Blackfoot, and Anishinaabe people who shared the Helena Valley as hunting grounds. The indigenous story of the Helena Valley began long before the arrival of Europeans. We honor those who walked here before us. We honor the path they have shown us in caring for this place for generations to come. We strive for justice and fair relations with their descendants. And now Nikki's going to come up and light the chalice while we read together from our order of service. So Nikki, not yet. Oh, they should be proceeding, sorry. The chalice lit among us is a beacon of hope in a world of crisis, a beacon of possibility made manifest in community, a beacon of warmth through our interconnections, a beacon of light illuminating our shared wisdom, a beacon of connection by our being together. And sorry I missed the announcements. I'm so unused to them being in the front, and Nikki has one.
I have two. My first announcement is that this microphone is always cutting out, and as a person with ADHD and sound sensitivity, it makes me crazy, and I hope that someone... It is the mic. It's been like that since last year. Thank you, Judy. It's the sound system. Someone could please.
So just talk without it. Figure that out, because it makes me like sick to my stomach. And I know there are other people in this room who also have sound sensitivity. So please, people of whoever can hire someone to fix it, fix it. Number two, I have two cards that'll also have a copy, but we'll pass them during the service for Greg. Worcester, who is not here and not allowed to be at church during this time, and in case you don't know that. So we're going to send him some support, and if you're not a fan of him, you don't have to do it, just pass it.
Anyone else with an announcement that was not in the weekly announcements?
This Wednesday, 6 to 7:30, Helena College Lecture Hall. Jeff Mangan is doing a presentation on the constitutional initiative that is essentially get rid of dark money in our state. It's a very creative, challenging move, so if you want to know more about it, go. We have 4 initiatives being passed right now in our state. We won't vote on them until the 26th, but they're all really important because they deal with judicial stuff and our voting and who gets to, et cetera. Second one I have is on Saturdays, there's always a honk and wave, noon to 1 at Montana and 11th. And come and show your support for democracy. And there is a No Kings event, No Kings 2 event on October 18th, details to follow. Once again, people throughout the country are looking for this as a huge showing, probably the largest showing in years of people who are fighting for democracy. And we are fighting. So,
Thanks, Janice. And as Christina knows, I can't remember the name of an author, but an author is coming to the Holter, 7 o'clock on Wednesday, to talk about his nonfiction book, American Teen Interviews with Trans Teenagers. Is that correct? Okay. Anything else?
I just wanted to ask Jarvis, maybe when and where you talk about
Helena College lecture auditorium. When? It'll be on Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
Wednesday, 6 o'clock, Helena College Auditorium. This week. Okay, we're back to the order of service now. And Judy is going to lead us in a piece of music from page 34 of the Open Your Heart songbook, which is the white ring-bound songbook, page 34. I'm so grateful to have Mackenzie back also to sing. It was beautiful. And now Nikki will be reading Everybody's Different on Everybody Street by Cherie Fitch, who wrote this while her son was suffering from mental illness, and he died in the course of publication.
Do you guys want to come up, or do you want me to sit here in the middle? Do you want me to sit in the middle? Harrison, you're deciding. You're the one standing there. Do you want to sit here in the middle? Okay. Wait, take the seat.
We'll see how we do.
We're gonna not use the microphone because
Okay.
I
We don't have that.
Testing, testing. Yes, I was in the store.
Okay, all right. June, thanks for joining us. Let's come up here.
Want me to hold it?
Nah, it's fine. All right, who wants to hold the book? You gonna hold it for me? Okay, you help turn the pages, okay? All right, this book is called Everybody's Different on Every Street. If you ever go traveling on every street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. Turn the page. Good job. This is a rhymey book, and I'm not good at reading rhymey books, but I'm gonna try. Some lope along giraffe-like, some shuffle hippopotami, some strut around like peacocks, others ostrich shy. Can we find all those animals? It's people, but they kind of look like animals. Do you see how they're acting? Yeah, who's that one? Peacock? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's the giraffe one right here. See her pants? Yeah. That's an actual peacock, you're right. This is going to be my favorite verse. Are you ready? Some yap like wee chihuahuas. Some flap like cawing crows. Some are meditating dolphins. Others tortoise turtle slow. Some thunder walk like elephants. Some dance around like ants. Some are wearing purple polka-dotted zebra-striped pants. Yes, some are wearing purple polka-dotted zebra-striped pants. I see that person. Turn the page for me. Good job. Careful. It's a library book. There we go. All right. If you ever go traveling on every street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. Turn the page. Good job. There we go. Another rhymey. Some live messy as tornadoes. That speaks to me. Some are paper clipping neat. Some grow juicy red tomatoes. Some don't have enough to eat. Some of us walk arabesque. Some of us walk jive. Some of us waltz weary. Some of us survive. That sounds like it's talking about all the different kind of people that live all around us, right? If you ever go traveling on everybody's street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. One more turn. I think it is in between the big poem, yeah. Some of us hold bags of hope like babies in our arms. Some hop over sidewalk cracks in search of good luck charms. Do you guys avoid the cracks in the sidewalk? No? Do you, Harrison?
Sometimes. You kind of do too.
Why do you do that?
I do it for fun. You do it for fun, okay? Me too.
Yeah, it's fun. All right. Some are hiding pride inside. We're human helium balloons. Some of us don't love ourselves. Some migrate to the moon. Some of us wear hats of worry 7 stories high. Most of us are in a hurry, and we often don't know why. And we often don't know why. Is there another one? What does this one say? Let's read it together.
If we go traveling on
If you ever go traveling on everybody's street,
you'll
see
if we went to different
that
than
everyone
everyone
you meet. Right. Again, he's reading a story to her brushing her teeth in the bathroom. That's interesting. That is a little interesting, isn't it? Curious. Okay. Some give compliments and bear hugs. Some are arching for applause. All of us are perfect, and all of us have flaws. Here's another one. If you ever go traveling on everybody's street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. Now he moved it into the bedroom. Nighttime story. All right. Some are cuddly koalas looking for some special one. Some of us have family, some of us have none. Some are alligator angry. Some orangutans at play. Some are bored as buffaloes. Well, I take offense to that for the buffaloes. Are buffaloes bored? I was not aware. Do you think buffaloes are bored? No. They have a lot to do, don't they? Some hummingbirds that prey. Some of us have visions. Some of us have schemes. Most of us have wishes, and all of us have dreams. What does this page say? If you ever go traveling on everybody's street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. Now she's reading by herself to her doggie. Some prefer the sunshine, some live in the dirt. Some of us have shelter, some sleep in the park. Some are mad as thunder, and some are sad as rain. Most of us are glad at times, and all of us know pain. So, if you ever go traveling to everybody's street, this is what you come to understand. You are everybody and everyone you meet. That's what everybody knows down everybody's street. Yes, everyone is traveling on everybody's street, and everyone is everyone and anyone you meet. And this is too long to read for us today. Was that a good book? Yay!
So today is NAMI Day, National Alliance for the Mentally Ill, and there's a march following the service starting at Memorial Park. Last year, the NAMI Day service had the lowest attendance of our entire year, and it was one of my favorite services of the year. So this time, rather than ask someone to spend hours and hours writing a sermon, fearing there wouldn't be many people to listen, we're going to be reading from some of our great writers on mental illness. And I'm going to introduce it with some words by Sherry Fitch, the author of Everybody's Different on Everybody's Street. Right now, as I write, members of my own family and close friends struggle with mental health. And as a result, I work hard at maintaining equilibrium with my own anxiety and depression. I am grateful to doctors and healthcare workers who do their best in a system that is still far from adequate to address the enormous needs of people in crisis in our society. For me, this sense of everyone being different and yet everyone being one is something I've known since the age of 4. But it's something that's all too easy to forget. I hope that my poem reaches out to those who need it, and that it is read out loud with gusto and sparks discussions that still need to be had as we travel together in a world that throws so much at us and demands such resilience. No matter how far we come out of the shadows, there will always be more to learn on the scale from mental wellness to mental illness, of what it means to be human. Mental health is not an issue of others, It belongs to all of us. Really, it's not an issue at all, but at the very heart of how we look at the world, each other, and ourselves with understanding and compassion. And, I'm sorry? Oh, I'm just not tracking today. It was a busy week. Thank you. So, Jessica, could you, or Marianne is great, pop up and do the offering. And we'll sing from page 25, and thank you for your loving hands. Oh, right.
Becky, you've got a couple of extra cogs in your machine today. Well, we will sing this especially to you. Thank you for your loving hands, your loving heart, your loving ways. Thank you for the gifts you bring into the world each day. And if you ever doubt yourself, remember us who love you well. We know all the gifts you bring into the world each day. So thank you for your loving hands, your loving heart, your loving ways. Thank you for the gifts you bring into the world each day.
So my mental illness shows up when I get too busy. That's one of the reasons. So we're going to do something in imitation of what Reverend Wolf did last Sunday at the gorgeous service out at the fairgrounds, which is intertwine the readings with number 1023 from your teal hymnal. If you didn't pick one up, they're in the back of the sanctuary. And Judy and Mackenzie will be leading the intertwined music, and you can see that 1023 over and over. It's a really easy few lines, and we can just sing it together. And then at the end of Gemma's reading on schizophrenia, we'll be doing 1002, Comfort Me, out of the same hymnal.
My filing system here in my back pocket. What did I do? Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? All of our voices and all of our visions, friends we could make such sweet harmony.
Okay, Marianne is subbing in the writing of William Styron.
Thank you for pronouncing that. And William wrote, is titled Darkness Visible. a memoir of madness. In depression, a faith in deliverance, in ultimate restoration, is absent. The pain is unrelenting, and what makes the condition intolerable is the foreknowledge that no remedy will come. Not in a day, and an hour, a month, or a minute. If there is mild relief, one knows that it's only temporary. More pain will follow. It is hopelessness, even more than pain, that crushes the soul. So the decision-making of daily life involves not, as in normal affairs, shifting from one annoying situation to another less annoying, or from discomfort to relative comfort, or from boredom to activity, but moving from pain to pain. One does not abandon, even briefly, one's bed of nails, but is attached to wherever one goes. And this results in a striking experience. One which I have called, borrowing military terminology, the situation of the walking wounded. For in virtually any other serious sickness, a patient who felt similar devastation would be lying flat in a bed, possibly sedated and hooked up to the tubes and wires of life support systems. But at the very least, in a posture of repose and an isolated setting. His invalidism would be necessary, unquestioned, honorably attained. However, the sufferer from depression has no option, such option, and therefore finds himself like a walking casualty of war, thrust into the most intolerable social and family situations. There he must, despite the anguish devouring his brain, present a face approximating the one that is associated with ordinary events and companionship. He must try to utter small talk and be responsive to questions, and knowingly nod and frown, and God help him even smile. But it is a fierce trial, attempting to sneak a few simple words. A phenomenon that a number of people have noted while in deep depression is the sense of being accompanied by a second self, a wraith-like observer who, not sharing in the dementia of his double, is able to watch with dispassionate curiosity as his companion struggles against the oncoming disaster, or decides to embrace it. There is a theatrical quality about this, and during the days when I went about stoically preparing for extinction, I couldn't shake off a sense of melodrama, a melodrama in which I, the victim to be of self-murder, was both the solitary actor and the lone member of the audience. When I was first aware that I had been laid low by the disease, I felt a need, among other things, to register a strong protest against the word depression. Depression, most people know, used to be termed melancholia, a word which appears in English in the year 1303 and crops up more than once in Chaucer, who in his usage seemed to be aware of its pathological nuances. Melancholia would appear to be far more apt, an evocative word, for the blacker forms of the disorder. But it was usurped by a noun with a blank tonality and lacking any magisterial presence, used indifferently to describe an economic decline or a rut in the ground, a true wimp of a word for such a major illness. It may be the scientists generally held responsible for this currency in modern times, a Johns Hopkins Medical School faculty member, justly venerated, the Swiss-born psychiatrist Adolf Meyer, had a tin ear for the finer rhythms of English, and therefore was unaware of the semantic damage he was inflicting for such a dreadful and raging disease. Nonetheless, for over 75 years, the word has slithered innocuously through the language like a slug, leaving little trace of its intrinsic benevolence and preventing, by its insipidity, a general awareness of the horrible intensity of the disease when out of control. The madness of depression is, generally speaking, the antithesis of violence. It is a storm indeed, but a storm of murk. Soon evident are the slowed down responses, near paralysis, psychic energy throttled back close to zero. Ultimately, the body is affected and feels sapped, drained.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you as you reach out to me. I call after voices and call after visions. Friends, we could make such sweet combinations. Friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
And now Agnes will come up and share a reading from Dr. Kay Redfield Jameson on her mania.
This comes from An Unquiet Mind, a memoir of moods and madness. Who would not want an illness that has among its symptoms elevated and expansive mood, inflated self-esteem, abundance of energy, less need for sleep, intensified sexuality, and the most germane to our argument here, sharpened and unusual creative thinking and increased productivity? But there's a particular kind of pain, elation, loneliness, and terror involved with this kind of madness. When you're high, it's tremendous. The ideas and feelings are fast and frequent, like shooting stars, and you follow them until you find better and brighter ones. Shyness goes, the right words and gestures are suddenly there. The power to captivate others others a felt certainty. You find interest in uninteresting people. Sensuality is pervasive, and the desire to seduce or to be seduced irresistible. Feelings of ease, intensity, power, well-being, financial omnipotence, and euphoria pervade one's marrow. But somewhere this changes. The fast ideas are far too fast. There are far too many. Overwhelming and confusion replaces clarity. Memory goes. Humor and absorption on friends' faces are replaced by fear and concern. Everything previously moving with the grain is now against. You are irritable, angry, frightened, uncontrollable, and enmeshed totally in the blackest caves of the mind. You never knew those caves were there. It will never end, for madness carves its own reality. I compare myself with my former self, not with others. Not only that, I tend to compare my current self with the best I have been, which is only when I have been mildly manic. When I am my present normal self, I am far removed from when I have been my liveliest, most productive, most intense, most outgoing, and effervescent. In short, for myself, I am a hard act to follow. When I am high, I couldn't worry about money if I tried, so I don't. The money will come from somewhere. I am entitled. God will provide. Credit cards are disastrous, personal checks worse. Unfortunately, mania is a natural extension of our economy. What with credit cards and bank accounts, there is little beyond reach. So once, with a sense of urgency and importance, I bought 12 snakebite kits. I bought precious stones, elegant and unnecessary furniture, and 3 Rolex watches within an hour of one another. Champagne tastes bubble to the surface in mania. Champagne tastes bubble to the surface in mania. During one spree in London, I spent several £100s on books that had titles that caught my fancy. Books on the natural history of the mole, and the 20 penguin published books because I imagined it would be nice for the penguins to form a colony. Once I shoplifted a blouse because I couldn't wait a minute longer for the woman with molasses feet in line and feet in front of me in line. Or maybe I just thought about shoplifting. I don't remember. I was totally confused. I imagine I must have spent far more than $30,000 during my 2 major manic episodes. And God only knows how much more during my frequent milder manias. But then back on lithium and rotating on the planet at the same pace as everyone else, I would find my credit decimated and my mortification complete. Mania is expensive. It is devastating to have the illness and aggravating to have to pay for the medications, blood tests, and psychotherapy. Those at least are partially deductible, but money spent while manic doesn't fit into the IRS concept of medical expense or business loss. So after a manic episode, when most depressed, you're given excellent reason to be more so. Time will pass. These moods will pass. And I will eventually be myself again. But then at some unknown time, the electrifying carnival will come back into my mind. Just a quick PSA on bipolar disorder. She mentioned in the last one about depression how the word has gotten into the general population and it changes, and so bipolar is the same. Like when people talk about bipolar weather, you think about rapidly cycling things, and that's not, it's generally sustained mood. It's not rapidly cycling like that. That's usually something else. So.
And now Gemma will read from Dr. Ellen Sachs on her experience with psychosis.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you.
This first part comes from The Center Will Not Hold by Dr. Ellen Sachs. Schizophrenia rolls in like a slow fog, becoming imperceptibly thicker as time goes on. At first, the day is bright enough, the sky is clear, the sunlight warms your shoulders, but soon you notice a haze beginning to gather around you, and the air feels not quite so warm. After a while, the sun is a dim light bulb behind a heavy cloth. The horizon has vanished into a gray mist, and you feel a thick dampness in your lungs as you stand, cold and wet, in the afternoon dark. Explaining what I've come to call disorganization is a challenge. Consciousness gradually loses its coherence. One center gives way. The center cannot hold. The me becomes a haze, and the solid center from which one experiences reality breaks up like a bad radio signal. Try this. Place yourself in the middle of the room, turn on the stereo, the television, and a beeping video game, and then invite into the room several small children with ice cream cones. Crank up the volume on each piece of electrical equipment, then take away the children's ice cream. Imagine these circumstances existing every day and night of your life. What would you do? Every sight, every sound, every smell coming at you carries equal weight. Every thought, feeling, memory, and idea presents itself to you with an equally strong and demanding intensity. Who am I at my core? Am I primarily a schizophrenic? Does that illness define me, or is it an accident of being, and only peripheral to me rather than the essence of me? It's been my observation that mentally ill people struggle with these questions perhaps even more than those of us with serious physical illnesses, because mental illness involves your mind and your core self as well. A woman with cancer isn't cancer woman. A man with heart disease isn't diseased heart guy. A teenager with a broken leg isn't the broken leg kid. But if, as our society seems to suggest, good health is partly mind over matter, what hope does someone with a broken mind have? When hospitalized, I was afraid the staff would laugh at me, and as frightened as I was, the thought of derision frightened me even more. In retrospect, it was a life-threatening deception, somewhat along the lines of hiding recurrent chest pains from one's cardiologist. If you are a person with mental illness, the challenge is to find the life that's right for you, but in truth, isn't that the challenge for all of us, mentally ill or not? My good fortune is not that I've recovered from mental illness. I have not, nor will I ever. My good fortune lies in having found my life. A mental illness diagnosis does not automatically sentence you to a bleak and painful life, devoid of pleasure or joy or accomplishment. I want to dispel the myth held by many mental health professionals that people with a significant thought disorder cannot live independently, cannot work at challenging jobs, cannot have true friendships, and cannot be in meaningful, sexually satisfying love relationships. What I would rather say is that the humanity we all share is more important than the mental illness we may not. And now from the Eden Express, a memoir of insanity by Dr. Mark Vonnegut. What we lose with a psychotic episode is the comforting assurance that we can't lose our mind. When most people look down, they see solid ground. When I look down, I'm not so sure. Once you've been talked to by voices, it's not possible to go back to a world where talking voices are not possible. The first meeting I really remember with the good doctor was when I started to be able to speak English again and making a brave attempt to regain some of my dignity. Trying to be very sane, I went up to him and asked if he was my doctor. He said he didn't think so. "You're Dr. Dale, aren't you?" "Why, Mark, of course. I didn't recognize you with your clothes on." He had a talent for saying just the right thing. The biggest gift of being unambiguously mentally ill is the time I've saved myself trying to be normal.
And now we will join Judy in singing number 1002, comfort me from singing the journey. And now, please join me in a moment of silent meditation. Any reflections on the readings or anything else? Katie.
Thank you, Becky, for the service. And
Thank you, readers, for sharing. Just as a therapist in the work that I do, bio-enviro, psychosocial, philosophical, and theological, Panchamaya Kosha model of care, there's beneficent mentality sustained by thoughts, a psychologically cognitive, wealthy mind, and in with the spirituality, the sociology, which I feel like so much of Unitarian Universalism has to do with in the research that I do in that model of care, are the principles of Unitarian Universalism. And our number one principle is very much like the golden rule, which is a theology throughout world religions of the inherent worth and dignity of every person, place, thing, and sentient being, which is the sociologically, and a beneficent intellectuality, sociologically intuitive, intelligent intellect, which then protects the kosha, protects the informed from spirituality of philosophically and or theologically jolly, blessed, blissful spirit. And if we have time, there's a little musical excerpt I'd like to play.
We should probably keep moving, but thanks, Katie. Maybe have coffee afterwards? Thanks. Yeah. Joe.
Thank you, Becky. It's a pity to think that last year this was the least attended service, because this is such an important topic, an important journey for those who are going through mental illness. Myself, just having been diagnosed this year with ADHD and wondering why that didn't happen 30 plus years ago. And seeing the in-the-moment wreckage that when untreated, Nikki got to witness it firsthand on Friday when I forgot my medication, of just how scattered and how trying to cram everything in when there's no humanly way possible. Not knowing how to draw those boundaries, not knowing how to prioritize, letting all the procrastination build up until it's just too much. And it's just, we all have these things that we deal with, and to think that it's normal for so long and then to realize that actually it's not. It's just really profound to kind of experience and see in each other when we are all going through something at some point in time. Yeah, and I just think it's really important. Thank you for not saying last year this was the least attended day, so maybe we shouldn't do it again. But to keep bringing it back to our attention, because it's so important for that building the bridges, you know, to understanding each other, to understanding those who are not with us currently because of potential mental health challenges and things that are happening in their life.
Christina.
It's an interesting perspective. My great-grandmother, Minnie Blanchette, spent 45 years at Warm Springs in the hospital there, and left my grandmother Helen to care for her 3 sisters who were born blind. It was, you know, it's an interesting thing because it wasn't that long ago, and it's pretty incredible how far mental health care has come in that time period. She had a lobotomy, frontal lobotomy, and I have one picture of her, we have one picture of her, and it's the scar and the trauma left on the generations of mostly women, because it's been mostly women that have been born. It's just an interesting thing. We have the letters back and forth between her husband and the doctors at Warm Springs, and him writing the doctors, is she going to be able to come home? Can she come take care of the children? They lived in Lima on a ranch, and she was a rancher's wife. And anyway, I just think about how the difference in her care and the quality of life that she lived. She died in 1964, and really that's not that long ago. And how much more care, even though it can be limited and it's really difficult. And but there's just, yeah.
Story. Anyone else? Ken.
I had a professor in college that taught a course called abnormal psychology. It wasn't an abnormal course, that was just the subject matter of it. His name was Bob Titley, and he could ramble a lot, and said one day that caught everyone's attention, if you only remember one thing from my class, remember this: the processes and dynamics in the abnormal are the same as in the normal. It is a matter of degree. The processes and dynamics in the abnormal are the same as in the normal. It is a matter of degree. And that's about the only thing I remembered from his class that stuck with me forever.
And Sherry Fitch, in her after forward to the book, talks of us all as being on a spectrum or a scale. Yeah.
I'm gonna let Gemma go first because I interrupted her at talking about it. Even though she said she didn't feel like I did.
Gemma's family is Jewish. She thinks interrupting is love. The NAMI walk service for me is often a really difficult one, actually, and I felt pleased that I was able to participate in it and feel like even and regulated. This year marks the 10th anniversary of when Georgia gave this service after the death of her husband. And I remember we were downstairs for that service because they were renovating up here, and I remember being inconsolably grief-stricken during Georgia's service, and I didn't actually know Mike very well, but it was like I couldn't keep it together during that service, and I was very surprised by it and realized in Georgia's service that I needed to leave my husband because I was struck so strongly by it. I realized that if what had happened to her had happened to me, I would be glad. So the event of talking about mental illness is something that we need to do because it keeps people from being locked in shame and fear, and brings something out into the open that needs to happen. And so I'm really grateful to you, Becky, for making sure that we pay attention to it, even though it's a poorly attended service sometimes.
Thanks for being so open with us all.
Last one. And I just forgot what I was going to say. As the person who was in charge of last year's service, and then was greatly offended that it was so poorly attended, I did work through that. And I will say, I didn't realize it was the NAMI weekend. I just thought it was really nice outside, and so people didn't come because of the weather. And then I'm so mad that I didn't know that we don't know Christina well enough, most of us, I think, to know that about your great-grandmother. So most of you know that depression killed my grandmother. And my mother suffered from schizophrenia, from like drug-induced cancer treatment-induced schizophrenia. And this year has been, I just sit here so often, not just here, but like in my life, just dumbfounded that I suffer with some kind of mental illness. Like, it's such a shock to me, and yet it seems like it's valid. So I want to say that I'm so grateful for my friends that are in this room. I love that little song that Sunshine sang last week, and I'm so glad you brought it back. And it also makes me extra sad about the people that aren't here, like Greg and Pat and Miss Song and Rachel and Diego, and people that have just kind of disappeared, Brittany and Ryan, there was something profound that I wanted to say that I can't remember, so there you go, that's all.
Thank you for sharing, Nikki. And now Judy and maybe Mackenzie are going to lead us in More Love, page 43 of the Open Your Heart songbook. And now Nikki will extinguish the chalice as we read together our weekly extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now the recording ends, and we have time for any private joys and concerns. One of my joys is that Georgia's